Today we're going to address the indexing system for the tough Workhorse automatic screen printing press. Coming up. One of the next things I'm going to do is I'm going to replace this part here with the new little V-block. Essentially what this does is it grabs onto this little bearing here. This one is a little worn. Looks like we got ourselves a couple half-inch, maybe 9/16 here. I'm going to go ahead and remove that and install this new block. Okay, we got our old V-block removed. We're going to put the new one in. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to clean this rail up here and this as well. Basically how the press indexes is it grabs the hold here and then this cylinder pushes the whole thing forward. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some compressed air, blow out a lot of this lint, clean these rails up a little bit, and then re-grease them with a little bit of lithium grease. Also hit this part of the rail. Here's our little bump stop here. Just trying to clean some of this grime and crap out. I'm going to clean this track up the best I can and then put a little bit of grease on it. Go ahead, push this forward a little bit. Clean this part of the track as well. Alright, our track is looking a little cleaner. I'm going to take some lithium grease here. I'm just going to run it on the inside of these rails. I'm going to do the same thing over here. Now I'm going to move this back. Now I'm going to grease this track here. Put a dab of grease here. And I'm just going to take a towel and wipe up some of the excess. And I'm going to move this guy in. Put a dab here. Work that back and forth. Let some of that grease get in there. Stick a little back here. Now I'm going to lube the inside of this rail. Far down as I can reach. Like we're all nice and lubed up. Alright, next thing I did is I greased this up just a little bit. Tried to force some lithium grease in there. Squeaking a little bit. Went ahead and took care of that. I'm going to go around to each one of these stations. You can see I already started working on this one. Pushing a little lithium grease inside this roller bearing. And putting a little bit of lithium grease inside these forks. So I'm going to go back and wipe up the excess. Also went through and packed some lithium grease into each one of these bearings. That is part of the indexing system. That little fork grabs a hold of it and pushes the press and swings the carousel. Last but not least, there are these little roller bearings here. As you can see, it does have a little plate or just a guide that it rolls up and down on. I'm going to clean up some of this old grease. It doesn't look too bad, but I'm going to lube all three of these up as well while I'm at it. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to crawl under here and adjust one of the little blocks the lift cylinders use to push up on the carousel itself. It looks like one of the lift cylinders was replaced and that was not properly adjusted. I'll show you what I'm talking about. Here's the little block that is at the end of the lift cylinder. If I try and move the press a little bit, you can see it is dragging. This was loose, so I ended up tightening it up. Now that I tightened it up, it is dragging a little bit. There's not a groove worn at the bottom or anything. I did grease the bottom of the entire press, but I'm going to use a couple wrenches to break this free, and then I'm going to use some filler gauges and check the other ones, see where they're at, find kind of a happy medium for this guy and set it. Here is the other one. Let's see if we can slide a filler gauge up underneath it.
See what we get. Well, this one's not even locked in. Alright, I'm going to do my own adjustments then.
So I'm going to take a 20 and a 30 hundredths filler gauge, and I'm going to use that as to what the distance is. I'm going to set that if I can get these things to stick together. Stay together. I need to wrap them up with some tape. Here we go. Wrap them up with some tape so they're not split apart. I'm going to slide this up under here, and then I'm going to snug it down. In the midst of recording how to lock down those, I don't even know what they're called. I mean, they're basically little blocks at the end of the lift cylinders. You essentially lock those down, you pinch them down together, and then that will secure it. One of the things I will have to do though, Howard, my press tech, did show me how to adjust the table. It's a touch out of whack. As I spin the press, you can see that one side is a little bit lower than the other, but I'll save that for a future video. Which means I will also have to go back and adjust each one of these pallets, make sure my off contact is the same from station to station. How I will go about doing that is using either a piece of metal that is about the thickness of the off contact that I want, setting it on each station. I'll table it up with my pallet down, and I'll raise the pallet up until that piece of metal meets the screen printing frame, and then I'll set it and level it from there. But I'll have to save that for a future video as well. Just fine-tuning it. You gotta fine-tune it. It definitely needs it. That's about it for today, guys. Keep an eye out for the next video. I'll show you how I went about rebuilding some of these heads and addressing some of the maintenance issues that I did. Don't forget that we are an official rep for Catspit Productions. Use our promo code Mikey Designs at catspitscreenprintsupply.com. You'll get $5 off your screen printing supply or equipment purchases. And what it does is it will help fund our channels. That way we can continue to make videos such as these for you. Subscribe, give this video a thumbs up, share our content, leave a comment below, even if it's just a hello, and we'll see you guys next time.